I guess. So what we discussed in the last lecture? All right. Okay. So okay. So in the last lecture we discussed about the export import, and in today's lecture we'll be discussing about RMAN backup and recovery. Let's try to understand that. Yes. That we'll see later. Okay, let's see and let's try to understand about the RMAN backup and recovery. So when we discuss about the logical structure of your Oracle database, like we have a table, then we have table space, we have users are there, and in order to take the backup of all this logical structure, we were using a utility called expdp, and if I want to import that backup, we were using a utility called impdp. But along with this logical structure, we have a physical structure which is available in the Oracle database. Like we have a SP file, control files, data files, and archive logs. Now all these files are also very important, and these files are required when you want to start your Oracle database. And if one of the file get missing, then definitely you will not be able to start your Oracle database. So this file, it is very important that's the reason we need to take the backup of this file. And in order to take the backup of these physical files, we are using a utility called RMAN. So RMAN is a single utility which can take the backup also, and by using the same utility, the backup can be restored also. And again, this utility is also available in the Oracle home bin location. In that, RMAN utility is available. So whenever you are dealing with the physical files means the files which are available on the server, the files for which you can show you the location, all that files can be backed up by using your RMAN utility. And RMAN utility not only take the backup of all this file, it will take the backup of your password file also. This password file will be created at the time of Oracle database installation. Now if I take the example of only backup, if I take the type of backup, there are two type of backup you will find. One we called it as a hot backup, and another type we called it as a cold backup. So hot backup means when your database is up and running. Now let's say my database is 19C, the users are already connected, and you want to take the backup. So obviously you are not going to stop the database, right? And that type of backup we called it as a hot backup. Cold backup means in which you need to stop the Oracle database if you want to take the backup of your Oracle database. That is called cold backup. And both the backups is used under the RMAN, or you can say that both the backups are supported by the RMAN. But normally we go with the hot backup only because daily we are going to take a backup, and daily we cannot stop the Oracle database. So we always prefer to take the hot backup only. Now coming to the RMAN, what are all different type of backups are available, and what are all different backups we take. So by using this RMAN, we take our full database backup, then we take incremental backup. We also take the backup of your and other files like your Archivelog files, SP file, control files. But basically, if I talk, there is a full database backup and incremental backup. Now, let's come back to the full database backup. Remember one thing, that whenever your backup is running, it will consume the lot of resources of your Oracle database server. Like when your backup is running, it will consume your CPU, it will consume your memory, it will consume your storage. All that factors will be impacted when your database backup is running. Even it will consume your, since it is consuming a lot of resources, it will be impact to your database performance also. And when your database backup is going on, and on that time if your SQL job is running, you will find a performance issues with that SQL job. Now we discuss about, there is a RMAN, and RMAN is having different type of backups, in which we are talking about the full database backup and incremental backup. Now let's say I have a database which is of size 500 GB, and 500 GB of data is available in that database. By using RMAN utility, you are going to take the backup of this database. Now when you have a database which is of around 500 GB and you are going to take the backup by using RMAN, what will happen? The 500 GB of RMAN storage, it will consume. Not every time 500 GB, but here and there little bit. But I am assuming that 500 GB of storage will be consumed by the backup of this RMAN. Because this backup will go into some location. Let's say I created one location called /data/backup. So when you are taking a backup of this database, you need to ensure that 500 GB space is available here in the /data mount point. So you have taken this backup on Sunday, and Monday again you want to take the backup. So Monday the database size will be 550 GB. Obviously the database is keep on increasing. So again, if you are taking the 550 GB of backup, but here you can see that only 50 GB has increased, right? So 500 GB and 500 GB on the day 1 and day 2 is common, right? It is a repetitive backup. So what I mean to say, if I draw this timeline, let's say this is Sunday, let's say this is Monday, Tuesday, daily you cannot take 500 GB, 550 GB, 600 GB. You cannot take daily full database backup, because if you are taking a full database backup, your storage where your backup is going to be stored, that storage will be full very soon, right? The location where you are going to take a backup, that storage will be full, right? Full database backup. Now if that storage become full, then again the client needs to pay money for the storage part. Again, one thing, that since it is a full database backup, it will take a long time to complete the backup itself. Full database is not like you started the backup and it get immediately done. No, it will take a time. So remember one thing, that full database backup is taking storage, it takes time, it is performing a lot of performance issue. It creates a lot of performance issue because it will run for the longer time. So usually we don't take full database backup on daily basis. We take the full database backup on weekends, like maybe Saturday or Sunday, because Saturday and Sunday your business is not running, right? So that's the reason we try to take full database backup on weekends. Now this full database backup, in the RMAN world we are calling it as a level 0 backup, and here we are calling it as a level 1 backup. Incremental level 0, incremental level 1. Even though the terminology is incremental, but when you say level 0, it is a full database backup. Level 1, it is an incremental backup. Now you cannot take level 1 backup without having level 0 backup. There is a dependency. What is the dependency? First you take level 0 backup and then you can take multiple level 1 backup. Now what is meant by level 1? First of all, let's take an example. I'm drawing this. Let's say this is Sunday, this is Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Wednesday. Now Sunday my database size is 500 GB. Monday my database size is 550 GB. Tuesday it is 600 GB and here it is 650 GB. Now if you are taking the backup of your database on Sunday, okay, if you are taking the backup of your database on Sunday, assume that this is a L0 backup. L0 means full database backup. So your backup size will be 500 GB, correct? Monday you are taking incremental backup. When you say that incremental, it is level 1. Now incremental backup is basically the changes in between level 0 and level 1. So 500 GB to 550 GB, the changes is 50 GB only, right? So it will take the backup of only 50 GB. Tuesday also it is going to take the backup of 50 GB only, because it is basically taking the changes in between level 0 and level 1 and level 1 to level 1 also. That is called incremental backup. The backup is already available of 500 GB here. So why to take the backup again and again? So every day it is going to add 50 GB of new backup. That is called incremental backup. Now since the backup is very small in size, it will be complete very faster, right? It will be faster. It will not consume your CPU, memory, and the performance wise also it will not impact to other jobs. So what we do, we take daily incremental backup, because daily whatever changes are happening on your Oracle database, we try to take that backup daily, and that is called level 1 backup. So we have a level 0 and we have a level 1 backup when you talk about the RMAN. Now when I say a backup of my database, remember one thing, that when I say backup of my database, it is basically a backup of your data files only and not the backup of other files. But in our Oracle database, we have a SP file, control files, data files, Archivelogs, we have password file and other things are there, right? So when I say a backup of database, it is backup of your data files only. And if you try to understand the Oracle database, the huge amount of data is available in your data files only. SP file, control files and all other files are very small in size. But we can take the backup of other files also. So we can take the backup of SP file, control files, data files. Definitely we can take single data files. Also you can take the backup. You can take the backup of your Archivelogs. So you can take the backup of whole database. When I say whole, means it will be complete SP file, control files, data files, Archivelog, everything. And when I say a backup of only database, basically it is a backup of data files only. So if I want to take a backup of level 0, the simple command is backup incremental level 0 database. When I fire this command, backup incremental level 0 database, it is backup of your only data files, not other files. But if I want to take the backup of other files, that is possible with the help of run block. In the run block, you can mention that whatever files you want to backup, and you can take the backup of all the files. Now, normally in the real-time production environment, all these backups are scheduled in the scheduler. Now what is meant by scheduler? See, you are going to take the backup daily, right? As I said, incremental backup you are going to take daily. Full database backup you are going to take on weekend. So obviously no one want to work in the weekend time, right? So taking a backup manually and then checking their status, if the backup is successful, that is fine. If the backup is not successful, then you need to troubleshoot that issues, right? So obviously what we do, since it is a daily work, and again if you try to understand backup, it is a repetitive work also. The way you are taking a backup today, same way you are going to take a backup tomorrow. So what we can do, like we can write down a shell script, or you can write down Python script, whatever you wish, and that script will be written in a such way that it will take the backup of your database, and that backup you will store in some particular location. You will store that backup in some particular location. And as soon as the backup gets success or fail, whatever the status, that status will be emailed to your email box, to your email ID, saying that okay, backup is successful or backup is failed. So you don't need to start the backup. What you need to do, as soon as you are written the shell script, you can put that shell script into the scheduler called maybe in cron tab. There is a scheduler called cron tab. You can schedule that jobs with the different tools like control M. There is a one more schedule is there called control M, or even OEM, which is a monitoring tool of your Oracle database, that can also schedule your Oracle jobs, Oracle DBA related jobs, including your RMAN jobs. So basically here is the automation part. The automation, what it is saying that since you are taking a backup daily, let's try to automate that so that you don't need to trigger a backup manually, and you are just waiting for your database backup status, and accordingly you will take a decision that whether you need to log into the system or not. So that's how the different type of backups we have, okay, and that's how the things works in the RMAN. One more thing, that when you take the backup by using RMAN, your database should be in Archivelog mode. That is important. In the last lecture, we have already discussed about what is Archivelog mode. So basically, whenever the users are making changes in the Oracle database, like update, insert and delete, it will generate your online redo log, right? Then online redo logs works in the circular fashion. So whatever changes users are doing, that will be going to the redo log 1, redo log 2, redo log 3. Now as soon as this online redo log is full, the log switch will happen and it will start writing the data to the online redo log 2. Again the log switch will happen and it will start writing the data to the online redo log 3. Now here is the situation where your all the online redo logs are full. You need to put your database into the Archivelog mode, and Archivelog mode is basically a copy of your online redo log files, and that will be stored in this location. This location we called it as a Archivelog location. And in this location that files are getting generated, we called it as a Archivelog files. So in the Archivelog location, that Archivelog files will be there. We need to take the backup of this Archivelog files. This Archivelog location will looks like this, like let's say /data/archive, like this. Now what will happen here? If your Archivelog location get full, this location, because users are continuously making changes, and that will generate your Archivelogs. These Archivelogs are basically a copy of your online redo log files only. Now when users are continuously making the changes, this Archivelog location become 100% full, because your Archivelogs are available in this location /data/archive. So there is a chances that huge amount of Archivelogs are getting generated and this location become 100% full. When this location get 100% full, your database goes into the hung state, and there will be a severe impact on your database. All your application jobs will be filled. Users will not be able to connect. You will not able to connect to the Oracle database. Even users will not be able to, even sys users sometimes will not be able to connect. So to avoid these situations, what you need to do, you need to take the backup of your Archivelogs. So what we do, this Archivelog, we move it to one more location, and that is your backup location. So this Archivelogs you are deleting like cut and paste. Cut and paste means you take the backup of this Archivelogs to the backup location, and then you delete that Archivelogs from the source location. That is like cut and paste. So that new Archivelogs will be generated here, and this location will not become full. And this is called Archivelog backup. This is called Archivelog backup. So we take the backup of incremental level 0, incremental level 1. We take the backup of SP file, control file. Along with that, we take the backup of Archivelogs also. So this Archivelog backup is very important, and that's the reason we take daily this backup every after 2 hours to 3 hours, depending upon how much Archivelogs are getting generated. Based on that factor, we decide whether you want to run this Archivelog backup every after 2 hours or 3 hours. So that's how the different type of backups we takes in the RMAN. And RMAN is a very powerful utility when it comes to the backup and recovery. Whenever you take the backup of your database, and by using RMAN utility, that backup information gets stored into a file called control file. I told you one thing, this control file, wait a minute, I'll give you a chance. So when you take the backup of your database, that backup gets stored in the control file. Okay, now ask the question. Yes. No. I'll show you that practically. How to this one control file, I disconnected that. Okay, let me repeat that. So what I was saying, that let's say you have a database. Okay, by using that RMAN utility, you are going to take the backup of your database. Okay, by using RMAN utility, you are going to take the backup of your database. Now whatever backup you are taking, let's say you are taking level 0 backup, level 1 backup, then you take the backup of SP file, control, whatever backup you take, that backup information, not a backup, I'm saying that backup information will be stored by your control file. Let's say I'm taking full database backup, which is a level 0 backup. Control file is aware that where is that backup, whether that backup is available or not, all that information gets stored inside the control file. And as I'm saying that a control file is very important. Control file is very important because it has all the information about, including your backup also. Whatever users are doing commit and all this, it is there definitely, but along with that, backup information is also there. So you can say that the metadata information about your backup is stored under the control file. And because of that only, if I want to know that what are all backups are available in my database, I can simply fire a command like list backup, and I can get the details. And we have a multiple commands are available in our RMAN, through which we can come to know that, okay, what are all backups are available, in which location that backups are available, what is the size of your that backup, everything we can come to know, because all that metadata information gets stored in your control file. And that's how the RMAN works. Understood, everyone? Yes or no? FRA is a flashback recovery area. when you take the backup, if you are not setting up the location, then by default your backup will go into that location. If you are not setting up your FRA is something like, your database backup will go into that location. The importance of FRA is like, um as soon as your FRA location get full, automatically it will delete your old backups automatically. Okay, I'll show you practically that part also. Please ask the question now, guys. Now you are not asking anything. We need to do that. We need to write down, maybe we need to write down a command, and that command will move your Archivelogs from your Archivelog location to backup location. It will not be done automatically. No, that you can do. That is the that definitely you can do. Even backup also can be configured automatically. But at the end, it's a code that you need to write down. If you think that okay, I want to write down a shell script which will check my utilization of my Archivelog location, and as soon as my Archivelog location become 100% full, automatically the Archivelog backup should be kick started. It is possible, and that's how we do in the real-time production environment. No one takes the backup manually usually, but uh, and that is the reason people don't understand that what's happening behind the scene in the RMAN, because most of the time it is already configured through contab or maybe by using any other utility. Understood? Any more question, guys? Please ask the question. Please feel free to ask the questions. This is the right time to ask the questions. Oh, they will ask you about what is the backup strategy you have done in your environment. So you can say that whenever we take the, like, obviously we should talk about the that our backup is configured with the cron tab. That's a simple answer. Okay, so you'll ask like, okay, what are all backups you have in your cron tab? So you can talk about like, we have a level 0 backup, we have a level 1 backup. Level 0 backup we take it on daily. Level 1 backup, level 0 backup we take it on weekends. Level 1 you take it on daily. We have one more backup is there, that is Archivelog backup. So Archivelog backup you are taking every after 2 hours. So all that things, the story which I told you in last 30-40 minutes, everything you need to tell. So basically, the interviewer is mainly focusing on RMAN. That's very important. He would like to understand that what's your backup strategy in your environment, and you can correlate that same thing with your SQL server. And I hope so. It is the same concept which is available in SQL server also. Nothing different. Only the thing is, here we write down some different commands. But at the end, incremental backup, full database backup, you'll find this concept in all the databases. So I'm just connecting to the SQL Plus utility, and now what I'm doing, I'm just starting the startup command. When I'm firing a startup command, it will start your container database, and it will not start your pluggable database. So let me start the pluggable database also. show PDBs. These are my pluggable database. Now everything you are going to do it on container level. Okay, like you understand, you try to understand the concept of SP file. Where is SP file available? Container or pluggable? Container level or pluggable level? SP file, container. Your what about the control files? Data files? Where is the data files? So data files, container have their separate data files, pluggable database have their separate data files, correct? Still we do all the backup on the container level only. But yes, if you ask me, like I want to take the backup of only PDB prime pluggable database, that is possible. Okay, we'll talk about that. Before that, if I fire a command like archive-log list, I can see that my database is in no archive-log mode. It means my database is not generating any archive logs in this location. If I go here, if I do df-h, and if I try to see, nothing is there. Or if I do ls-lrt, cannot access. Why? Maybe that directory itself is not available. So basically no archive logs are getting generated in this location because my database is in no archive log mode. Now people will ask you the question like how you can change your database from no archive log mode to the archive log mode. Whenever you want to change your database from no archive log mode to the archive log mode, first of all, this is not an online activity. Try to understand that. This is not online activity. You need to put your database into the mount stage and then you need to perform this activity. How to do that? So first of all, I'll create one location where my archive logs are going to be generated. I don't want to use this location. So what I can do, I will create one location like mkdir-p/data/archive. I created this location. As I said, you can run your Linux command under the SQL prompt also by giving explanation mark, and that is what I have given here. Now I'll say alter. Now this location I need to set here, right? So I'll say alter system set log archive dest_1 equals to location equals to /data/archive scope equals to both. Now tell me whether it is a parameter or what? Whether it is a static parameter or dynamic parameter. Scope equals to both. There is some syntax issue. Where is that location? Alter system set. Where is the issue? Alter system set log archive destination 1 location equals to location equals to /data. Now it's fine. If I do archive log list, it's a dynamic parameter. Okay, I can see that without restarting my database, the archive log location got changed. It means by looking to the scope itself, you'll understand that it should be which parameter? Dynamic parameter. Now I'll shut down my database. Remember this, when you want to change from no archive log to the archive or vice versa, you need to shut down your database, start the database into the mount stage, and then do that. So I have shut down my database. Let me start the database into the mount stage and let's do that. Startup a mount. I told you don't go with the startup command. Okay, When you use startup command, it will go into the no mount, and it will open your database also. But if you want to restrict your database with some particular stage, you can simply use a command like startup mount. And in this location, you can say alter database archive log. When you use this command, if you try to see archive log list, my database is in archive log mode, and currently this is the location. If I want to open this database, I'll fire a command like alter database open, and it will open my database. Now if I try to go into this location, okay, if I try to go into this location, login with the Oracle, and if I try to go into that location, can I see the archive logs over here? No. No archive logs are available. Why? What do you think? Correct. So basically what happened, the archive logs will get generated only when the lot of transactions are happening, like insert, update and delete. Correct. Now whatever transaction which are done by the sys user, maybe internally, the online redo logs are not able to do log switch. I told you, right? The log switch is not happening. On the top I showed, right? The log switch should be happen, right? So what I can do that log switch forcefully also. Alter system switch log file. If I fire this command, I'll fire this command. So I tried to do the log switch. Okay. If I go here and if I try to do ls-lrt, there is a kind of empty archive logs only. You can see the size is very small. The first one is little big because maybe some data was there, but after that you can see the size is very small. So these are the archive logs. Now this log switch I have done manually, but internally it will be done automatically as soon as the online redo logs get full, and it will start generating your archive logs. So that log switch will happen automatically. But just to show you demonstration, I have done that manually, and here I can see these archive logs are getting generated. And this is the archive logs which I'm talking about. Like, it will be generated huge in a such way that this utilization will become 100% full, and then your database will go into the hung state. You will not be able to connect to the Oracle database. All the application jobs, SQL jobs, RMAN jobs, whatever it is running, everything will be stopped. Everything will be, and complete your database will be hung. So that is the reason we try to take the backup of these archive logs and place it into some backup location. Now I am in a good position. Let me clear the screen. If I want to connect to the RMAN, so I'll simply use RMAN target / I got connected to the RMAN by firing the command like RMAN target /. Now I want to take the backup of my SP file. The simple command is there, backup SP file. When I fire the command backup SP file, it will take the backup of my only SP file. And here I can see that my backup of my SP file is going on. It's done. And where is that backup is going? So here you can see that the backup is starting on 14th of March. Means just now we started the backup. Whenever you take the backup, that backup information going into a control file. But there is one more option is there. If you don't want to use control file to store metadata information about your backup, you can use one more database is there. We called it as a recovery catalog database. So recovery catalog database is a separate database which is reside on separate server that can also perform the same thing which can be done by control file. That is called recovery catalog database, and it will hold only backup information. Just the way control file is stored, same way recovery catalog is storing. Because some projects are thinking that okay, control file keeping a backup information is very risky, so they try to configure one more database and they can also store the data about your database backup. That is called recovery catalog. But the default configuration is control file only, and that is what we are doing right now here. Whenever you take a backup, by default one channel will be allocated to your database backup. Allocate channel is 1. What does it mean? If you remember that in EXPDP, we used one parameter called related to the parallel option, that is called parallel. Parallel equals to, same way if you want to do this operation with the number of channels, means number of parallel process, you can allocate the number of channel also. So I'll show you in future how to allocate the number of channel. At this point, one channel has been allocated and this is the name of that default channel. This is the SID number. Every database will have SID number will be there. We are taking that backup on the disk, and finally that backup is going into a backup set, and under that backup set there is a backup piece is there. So what RMAN is doing, whenever it is taking a backup of your SP file or maybe data files, internally it will create one backup set. A backup set it will create. This backup set is a logical entity, just like table space you can consider if you really want to compare it. And under that backup piece will be there. What is that? Backup piece. This backup piece, you're actually a backup. Now this backup is going into by default location Oracle home DBS location. In this location, that backup piece is going. If you go here, this is my backup piece, and if I want to show you that, this is the location where my backup piece is there. Means this is my backup file. In the export import, we use the terminology called, what is that terminology? Here is the backup piece. Where is that? What is that? Dump file. So it is the same thing. It is an actual file, and RMAN store a backup in his own format. Like, don't consider that it will copy a data files and store it as a data file only. No, RMAN store it into his own format. The same way in export also, EXPDP store his database backup in his own format. And a tag will be allocated. By using this tag, you can restore your database backup. And finally, it is taking a backup of your control file and SP file. Now there will be a question in your mind that we have not taken the backup of control file, means why it is taking the backup of control file? Because we have not mentioned like we are going to take the backup of control file. This is all because of one more configuration called auto backup. What this auto backup configuration is saying, even though you are taking a backup of any file, let's say you are taking a backup of SP file, data files, any files, it will take one set of control file in SP file automatically. Where that configuration is available? In the show all. If you go here, there is one option is there called control file auto backup on. What this configuration is saying, irrespective of any backup, it will take the backup of your control file and SP file. Okay, that is called auto backup. Where that backup is available? In this location. Any question here with this? Able to understand this part? So this is the way you can take the backup of your SP file. Now assume a situation that I don't want to take my backup in this location. Obviously you will have like, I don't want to take my backup in this location. I want to take my backup in some different location. So how to do that? Let me show you. Go to our website, learnomate.org. Then click on the search button and search it with the RMAN. Open this block, and what I'm going to do, I'll create one location, and in that location I'm going to put my database backup. So this is the configuration what you can write down here. Configure channel type disk format. So I'm saying that if I run this command, configure channel type device type disk format, I'm saying that my backup is going to happen on disk level, and the format is basically a location. The location will be slash data slash backup. In that location my backup will go, and max piece size will be 2 GB. After that it is going to generate new backup piece. So this option is also similar like our export import. What is this max piece file size parameter? Did we see this? Have we gone through this concept in our export import? Yes or no? Right? We discussed about the parameter called file size, correct? So what is this percentage %u? This percentage %u, we called it as a format specifier. Now here is what they have done. If you remember, the problem with the expdp was every time you need to specify the name of your dump file separately. Let's say I was giving the name like table.dmp. Next time I was giving like table1.dmp, something like that. Here what they have done, they have used format specifier. What this format specifier will do, if you use percentage %u, by default it will generate some unique number every time automatically. Let's say my backup is going into the location called slash data slash backup. That backup piece name will be something different. Next time it will be different. You don't need to specify the name of your backup. It will be done automatically because percentage %u will be replaced with some unique identifier number. Even if you see my first backup piece, can you see here the name was given little different, right? Something different was given. This is all because of percentage, this format specifier. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to run the same command, backup sp file. If I use this command, this time you can see my backup is going into a location slash data slash backup, and the name of my backup piece is little different, percentage %u, because of percentage %u. I don't need to specify what is the name of my backup. What is the name of my backup piece? I don't need to specify. This is all because of format specifier. And where that configuration has been reflected into the show all only. So show all, I have mentioned this configuration. Assume that you want to change this configuration. So you can simply copy it, change the location and run it here. This is the way you can change it. Let's say you don't want configure auto backup on, you want off. That's it. It's done. Show all, you can see it's off now. If you want to make it on, just copy it one more time and it will make it on, and it will take the backup of your sp file and control file with every set. See here, even though here I use backup of my sp file, but it has taken the backup of my control file and sp file in this location. Now we understand the basic of your RMAN, like how the backup run with respective to the sp file and control files. Now sp file. Now let's take the backup of control file. Backup current control file. Spelling mistake. Backup current control file. Now it has started taking the backup of my control file, and my backup is going into this new location which I set here. If you think that okay, I don't want my backup to go into this location, remember one thing. The change which I have done right now related to the location, it is a permanent change to all the backups. But if you want to override that only for specific backup, let's say I want to take the backup of control file, backup current control file, and if I mention format, I want to take the backup in some different location, let's say slash data, and in this location only I want to take the backup along with percentage %u. So I can take the backup to this location also. If I am not specifying any location where that backup will go, to that slash data slash backup location. But if I want to take the backup, only this backup into this location, I can simply say format, and this will override the changes, but not permanently, only till this backup only. You got my point, what I'm saying here? Yes or no, everyone? Now let's assume that you got some you have some issues with your location. Assume that that location is full, okay, and immediately you want to take the backup. So somewhere you will take the backup, right? You don't have time to wait for cleanup activity and all. So for the time being, you can take the backup in any location. You can do that, okay? But this backup only. Now, if I'm taking one more backup, along with not specifying any location, by default it will go into that location only. So we got to know how to take the backup up. Yes. That is the reason this format specifier you need to use correctly. Okay. Now there is a way to, like, if I fire list backup command, I'll get to know that all the backups that you have taken till now. Okay. Now if you want to know what is the backup of SP file, where is the backup of SP file is there. See, here is the backup. When you fire list backup command, you'll get to know that what all backup you have taken till now. So we have taken some incremental level 0 backup because it is a backup of your SP file and control file only. So it is all the time full database backup. Remember one thing, all that incremental and all that terminology, incremental and full, is only applicable for which type of backup? Data file backup. But when you talk about the control file or SP file, it is a small file only, right? So there is nothing like incremental concept here. Now what it is containing, what backup it is containing, everything you can see over here. But this is a generic command for list backup, means it will talk about all the control files, data files, archivelogs, everything. Here you can say that SP file is included with this backup piece. So you can use this backup piece also for SP file restoration. But if you want to know only the backup of SP file, only the backup of data files, only the backup of archivelogs, there are separate commands are there. Just like list backup is there na, list data file backup, list database backup. Likewise, we have separate commands are there. That way also you will come to know that, okay, this is my SP file backup, this is my data file backup. But I will tell you one more, the best way to identify whether it is a SP file backup or not, by specifying correct format specifier. See, we used only %u right now, correct? So that is not telling you the correct name. It is giving you unique identifier name. But you, along with that, you can attach underscore SP file, underscore data files, that you can attach with that. I'll show you how to do that. But before that, let's try to understand about one more concept. So we got to know how to take the backup of SP file and control files. Now coming to data files, if you use report schema command, this will tell you all the data files and all the table space and corresponding data files details when you use report schema. Now you can see that we have a system and this is a data file. These are the data files related to the pluggable database table space, corresponding data files. You can see everything over here. Okay. Now I want to take the backup of one data file. Assume that, and every data file will have some number also, that is called data file ID. So you can take the backup of data file by using this name, or you can take the backup of by specifying file ID also, which is the data file name. Now let's say I'm saying backup data file and data file number, which is 7. So when I say 7, basically it is a backup of data files only. Same way I can say backup data file and data file directly name also I can give. It is the same thing. So you can give the backup of data file, you can take the backup of data file by using data file ID or data file name. You can take the backup of table space also. Backup table space. Do you think that it is possible? Let's say table space is users. Is it possible? Yes or no? But I can take the backup of table space also. If you see this log file correctly, it's not a logical backup. It is a backup of your physical file only. If you try to understand the log file, under this user table space, there is a data file called user01.dbf. So this feature they have recently added, saying like, if you take the backup of table space, it is not a backup of logical table space view. It is a backup of data files which are the part of that table space. You got my point? So that's how you can take the backup of your table space also. Okay. So till now, whatever backup you have taken, that is a separately, like SP file, control files, data files, even table space also. Let's say I want to take the backup of Archivelog. So there is a command like backup Archivelog all. If I use this command, it will take the backup of my all the Archivelogs which are available in the location /data/Archivelog location. Correct? But if I go to that location, ls-lit, still that Archivelogs are here only. We have taken the backup of Archivelogs, but Archivelogs are here only. But I want to delete this Archivelogs. So do you think that I should delete this manually now? How will I come to know that this Archivelogs has been backed up? So this is the wrong way, right? I want to delete this Archivelogs so that this space I can use for my next Archivelogs. Able to understand, yes or no? Everyone? Now what I will do, I'll use one more command, backup Archivelog all delete input. What this command will do, it will take the backup of your Archivelogs. Whatever Archivelogs are there, it will take the backup of all Archivelogs, and then it will deleting that Archivelogs also. Now if I go to that location and if I do ls-lit, no Archivelogs are available here. So whatever backups of the Archivelogs is done, that has been deleted from that location, and all that Archivelogs are shipped to which location? Backup location here in the single backup piece. Understood? That's how the backup of Archivelogs we take, and many times people are asking these questions like how you take the backup of Archivelogs, what is delete input, and all those things. Okay. Okay. Rest of the things we'll take tomorrow. Okay. So we'll continue this RMAN only. Okay. After that we'll see the restoration part. Okay. Understood everyone till now? Same this, yes, /data/backup. So one time you need to set and automatically it will go into that location. But if you want to take it in your some separate location, you can use that format, and in that location it will go. Okay. All the commands whatever I used, okay, it's there on the blog. Go through that. Okay. Try to understand. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll discuss about that. Okay then, yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much. Bye bye.